I'm Dr. LaDonna Boyd, and welcome to the third quarter of our 2022 curriculum lessons. The lessons for the month of July focus on how the Word became flesh, healing the sick, saving the lost, resurrecting the dead, and granting peace. The lessons for July 3rd and 10th are entitled The Reason for It All from John chapter 1 and Never Too Far Away from John chapter 4, respectively. The lessons come from the Master Teacher book from R.H. Boyd. Each of the four Gospels is written to a different community with unique concerns. There are three Synoptic Gospels. Synoptic means same eye, to see together, or similar view. Scholars consider Matthew, Mark, and Luke to be synoptic, and Bible scholars do not consider John to be like the other Gospels. John writes his narrative about Christ much later than the others, and his sights were set on a different objective, namely rebutting the heresy of Gnosticism. People are often curious about how things began. How do we understand the origins of life? When you consider Christianity, we must realize that God has no beginning or end. John begins by explaining that the Word was God's creating and Jesus is the redeeming agent in the world. In the lesson for July 3rd, we explore the meaning of Christ. John begins his prologue with the same phrase that the writer of Genesis begins with, in the beginning. John here lets us know that unlike the gods of the ancient Near East and the gods throughout the Greco-Roman world, Jesus has no origin story. His origins are eternal, or as the seasoned saints would say, from everlasting to everlasting. John wants us to know that there was never a time when Christ did not exist, and there was never a time when Christ was not God. It says in John chapter 1, verses 9 through 14, the true light which enlightens everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him. Yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood or of the will of the flesh or of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. In the lesson for July 10th, we discuss Jesus' healing power. When we or our loved ones are sick, we seek restoration and healing. When all efforts fail, what can we do? Jesus invites our active, faith-filled participation with his power to create new life through healing, even from a distance. Jesus, our divine designer, knows who we are, and he also knows the plans he has for us and what it takes to bring us to an expected end. All things in our lives are working together for our good. In the lesson, there was a royal officer whose son was sick in Capernaum. He came to Jesus in Galilee and begged him to go heal his son. Jesus demonstrates his supreme mastery over the human body and sickness. Jesus heals this man's son remotely without traveling to Capernaum. The moment he spoke, healing occurred. What's remarkable is that Jesus works this healing miracle without any pomp and circumstance. He is not performative. In verse 50, Jesus said, "Go, your son will live." The man believed that the word that Jesus spoke to him and started his way. The father had faith that Jesus' word was true, and he and his household became believers. How many of us truly take God's word as fact? Do we have faith that all things work as they should, or do we need proof? This father took action to seek the desired results, and through his faith, his request was granted. We must go forth in faith, knowing that God will provide all of our needs. Again, I'm LaDonna Boyd, and I hope that you enjoyed these lessons. Please check out our website, www.rhboyd.com/ACL Insider for additional tools and resources, and check out our social media accounts at RH Boyd Co.